Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for another episode here. I am so excited to jump into the topic of building a solid website, why it's important, and also how I built my own website, the platform that I used. If you're tuning in here, I imagine you might be either a business owner or a photographer. If you're a photographer and you want to learn more about posing or pricing specifically, be sure to download our free guides in the description below. And thank you so much for joining me. Let's dig in. Okay, so let's talk about the importance of a solid website. One thing that I really want you to keep in mind is that first impressions matter. When a potential client is going to your website and maybe they heard about you from a friend or maybe they came across you on Instagram, this is the first time that they're really going to be sitting down and digging into the ins and out of your actual brand, your imagery, your content, and who you are. So this is your real first professional impression, and you want to get it right. The aspect of your website that clients are really going to be looking at the most is your portfolio. Like I said, before that point, maybe they've talked to a friend or someone recommended them. They may have accidentally stumbled into you on a social platform, but they want to see more. So when it comes to your website, you really want to spend some time picking out the images that you're going to show your absolute best work. At some point along the way in my architecture schooling, I learned that your portfolio is only as good as your weakest image or your weakest project. And so when it comes to the portfolio on your website, as you're pouring through those photos and looking for what to choose and what not to choose, really think about that. The lowest or least favorite image on your website is going to set the bar. And so everything you choose should be your absolute best work, the work that most speaks to your ideal client and the type of weddings that you want to shoot moving forward. The next element of your website that you want to really have on target is your branding and storytelling. So a little bit about my most recent journey through my website. I worked with Meg Stefan. I can show her URL here. I'm not affiliated with her business or the businesses that I'm referencing here in any way. She just did a really great job with my website, and I'm super thankful. I used Saffron Avenue. They have a branding workbook, and through that branding workbook, I really honed in on my colors and kind of the storytelling. And speaking of storytelling, I used Ashlyn Wrights for her course. It's a self-guided course, but it helped me write the copy for my website. And Meg did a little judging to it too of Stefan Studio. So the branding and storytelling, you really want to get right because all of that is going to come together in the new design. With Showit, the platform that we use, which by the way, the code MAGIC will save you an entire month of your subscription through Showit. It'll give you the chance to kind of trial run it, see how it is, which it's amazing. Such a great price point. We'll get more into that. But essentially, with Showit, you can do a variety of things. You can do what I did, which is purchase a template through a template designer. I actually purchased my template through Tonic Site Shops, and then I worked with Meg to tweak that. But you can also, purchase one of their on-site templates, or you can use a free template as well. So whatever you end up doing, that will help you design your website. Essentially, your branding and storytelling are really going to be the visual aspects of the site itself that align with your portfolio, your work, the style of your photography. So spend some time thinking about what you want it to look like, what you want it to feel like. And I do recommend working with a designer. I think having a really strong web designer will help you get it right. In the past, I've worked with Krista and Davey. They are also wonderful designers, and there's so many great designers out there that you can team up with that will do a great job in tweaking your portfolio. I would even look into somebody that can, that does work with photographers often because that is very specific and will help you really hone in on what you want to show. The next aspect of your website that I want to talk about is the credibility and the trust side. So that's going to come from, of course, them seeing that you've worked with other clients, the level of work that you have, but more specifically, your testimonials. When you're scrolling through your homepage, you want to have a few testimonials sprinkled in. Make sure that there's a photo that accompanies that testimonial or those testimonials. And then also on your website through the About section, maybe sprinkled in on the service page. You can have testimonials sprinkled all over. I think it's nice to have them kind of spread out because testimonials are incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, our Google reviews just got taken down. If anyone has any advice on how to get them back up, let me know. Not sure why they came down. Anyway, I digress. But point being, when it comes to reviews, have a Google site or testimonials on your website. Like any way that you can have testimonials. Video testimonials are amazing. So it just essentially solidifies that you are a qualified photographer for that client. The next part of your website that is really important is going to be the actual conversion. So when you're laying out your website, you want to sprinkle in some buttons, a contact button, a learn more button, show people how to take those steps into actually booking you for their wedding. You don't want to just provide a bunch of information and then not remind them that, hey, you actually need to inquire, fill out this questionnaire and reach out and maybe even explain a little bit about your process. Some people include a starting price. I do love that because you don't want to have a bunch of people reaching out if it's not really a great fit in that regard. So you don't have to necessarily list your prices, but if you want to put a starting price or an average spend, that's not a terrible idea. SEO is really what's going to get you seen inside of our membership community, the Wedding Photography Society, which there's more information about that in the description. We have had some amazing guests, including Ryan Moreno, who have come and spoken to us about the importance of SEO. But SEO will really come through with the text, how you're laying things out on your website. And you want to do a little bit of research on this. SEO is going to help your site get seen through link backs, through your blog, through all of those little tricks that will get your site seen and ranked higher on Google. Yes, I'm a big proponent of referrals. If you've followed me for some time, you know that networking is my jam, doing a good job, having people refer you so that you don't have to market a whole lot on your own, but you do want to let your website also stand on its own and drive traffic. So do a little digging, look into SEO. If you sign up for our community, you can access that video as well, but SEO is very important. And the last thing I want to touch on is that it's a great idea to have your site be adaptable for growth and easy to tweak and refine. This is, if for none other reason, the primary reason why I use Showit. I have had, over the past 15 years, such a wide variety of websites. I've had a custom WordPress blog. I've used blog themes. I've worked with designers. And essentially what I came back to was that I want a web platform, which is Showit, that will allow me to be really flexible as my business changes and grows. I have a ton of pages, you'll see that in a minute, on my website, and I can make adjustments anytime I want for free. It's all included in the subscription. I'm not paying a designer to make those changes for me. And like I said, if you use the code MAGIC, you even get that first month free so that you can go on and figure out the system on your own, which is what I did. I taught myself how to make these edits, how to adjust my website so that every time I wanted to make changes, I didn't have to pay a designer for that. And I just love it. It's a lot like Illustrator, which is what I learned in architecture school. It's beautiful. It's drag and drop.